My friend keeps talking about my ex in front of my fiance. You ever just think about one of your exes and you're just like, ew, you know? And then I sit there and I wonder, I'm like, but I wonder if they do that about me. I'm someone's ex as well. Whatever, probably. This story came April 1st, 2024. My 29 male best friend Jess, 29 female, keeps on mentioning my ex, 29 female, in front of my fiance, and I am thinking of cutting her off. I want to know if I am overreacting or if Jess is in the wrong. For context, Jess and I went to the same high school and the same college. We were friends in high school. However, since we both went to the same out-of-state college, we became best friends. We have always been there for each other during the best and worst times. However, things have always been platonic, and she is more like a big sister to me who made sure that I always stay on the right track. I have only been in 2 long-term relationships so far. One was with my ex, Lisa, for 7 years. We met in college and dated all through our college years. Lisa and Jess also became good friends too. After college, Lisa and I just grew apart and had different goals in life. I became boring after college as I was working on my PhD while doing a full-time job. Lisa broke up with me as she wanted to party on weekends while I was home studying. I was heartbroken, but I don't think I ever blamed her or had resentment towards her, as I understood. My decisions were selfish and should not hold her back from having the best life. What a mature way of thinking. Can't relate. Jess always stood by me and comforted me during that time. Jess and Lisa were good friends, and Jess always kept on telling me that Lisa loves me and will be back one day when I am ready. I foolishly held on to that hope and stayed friends with my ex, Lisa. This was until I met my fiance, Yang. After I finished my PhD, I got a nice job in a big tech company. Yang joined our team a year after me. We started going out for drinks and dinner, and we started dating seriously pretty soon. We are happy together and financially in a great place. Needless to say, I stopped talking to Lisa after I started dating Yang. Understandably so. I proposed to Yang a year after we started dating, and we got engaged last year. Jess has been acting weirdly since we got engaged. One of the first things she said to Yang after we got engaged was how I had planned the same thing for Lisa, proposing on a local hiking trail. Now, why would you ever say that though? Why would you ever say that to somebody? Even if it's true, you know, some things are better left unsaid. That little detail did not need to be known by Yang. Why ruin that little special moment? Are we sure Jess is your friend? It was a bit off-putting that she was bringing up Lisa, who I broke up with almost 5 years ago, on such a happy occasion. However, Yang asked me not to spoil the mood, as she felt Jess was just commenting on how I had that plan in my mind for years. Since then, every time we met, Jess, without fail, brings up Lisa and how the things I am doing are all the things I had planned to do with Lisa. This happened when we bought a house, planned for vacations, etc. Jess always starts with some nostalgic story and then brings up how Lisa and I were so happy together. She is still good friends with Lisa and keeps giving me updates about Lisa and how great Lisa is doing at work when no one is asking for it. It felt like she was painting a rosy picture of Lisa to Yang and then telling Yang that she would always be second to Lisa. Yang told me Jess's comments bothered her, and I also felt the same. I have brought this up to Jess many times and asked her not to do it. However, she says she will try, but since I dated Lisa for 7 years, she would be part of many stories from the past. Also, she asked me why talking about Lisa bothers me and if I still have feelings for her. I have reduced hanging out with Jess. However, she is close with my mom and is always invited to all our family parties and holidays. I talked to my mom and sister about this, and they feel that I'm overreacting. They feel Jess is just telling stories, and since the stories are mostly from college days and later, Lisa will be a character in the story. Okay. Y'all hear that plumbing? It's always something in this building. There's always plumbing issues, I swear. I'm just gonna speak louder. I'm so sorry. It usually doesn't last very long. They also feel I should not be bothered by Jess mentioning Lisa since we broke up a long time ago. I feel that it's disrespectful to Yang, as she doesn't need to hear about all the fun Lisa and I had when we were together and how we were planning to get married. Do you think I am the a-hole to stop here, or Jess is truly acting out of line? I totally understand why that would bother you. If it's happening as much as you're saying and as often, of course, I understand why you and Yang might be a little uncomfortable. Like, she's in your past. You don't need to hear about her all the time. Not everything in your future has to connect back to your past. I understand. I totally get why you might be bothered by that. Let's see what people of Reddit are saying so far, because some condo life, I tell ya. One day I'll have a house. Not anytime soon, but one day. All right, someone commented saying, probably need to separate your time with your fiance away from your friend. On a side note, your friend comes across poorly on one other aspect. When you are too busy to date, so you could study. She's encouraging you to stay available while your ex just goes around dating around. Do you think she ever encouraged your ex to not? Or do you think she was telling your ex that she could have all the fun she wanted because you would still be around? Food for thought. The OP responded and said she thought we were 24 when we broke up, and she always justified that Lisa was young and it's natural to date around before you settle down. She also encouraged me to do the same. However, after my breakup, I decided that I would not be in a relationship based on what happened to the previous one, and so I never dated anyone until after I graduated. Next comment. OP, do you know if Lisa is married? Maybe Jess is trying to sabotage your engagement so that you can be with Lisa. OP responded saying, I know Lisa is single. She has not been in any serious long-term relationship after me. In fact, Jess always makes it a point to bring up regularly and update me, even after I tell her I have no interest. My mom loves gossip, and they also discuss Lisa regularly. What? This is so bizarre. I cannot imagine talking about my ex on the regular. No thanks. I'm good. Even if you wish them well and things were amicable. See ya. Next comment. Jess is just being a mean girl / have you talked to Lisa at all? OOP responded, at this point, I suspect Jess is just being mean to Yang. I would have cut her off a long time ago if she was not so close to me or my family for so many years. Lisa is out of the picture, to be honest. I have completely gone no contact with her for the last 2 years. Next comment, which is probably what a lot of us are thinking or curious about. Jess has feelings for you. OOP responded, that's not true. I did not write it since I thought it was irrelevant, but Jess is happily married and has a 3-year-old kid. Okay, well, if you've heard any Reddit stories, being married doesn't matter most of the time, apparently. I did wonder. It did cross my mind if Jess maybe had feelings, but I also think more so, since Jess is still close with Lisa, that I think she's like Team Lisa and maybe hopes for them to be together. You know, I think it is more of that than anything. We have an update, which came April 23rd, 22 days later. The last month has been nothing but crazy, and I'm still trying to make sense of what happened so far. After my last post, I decided to talk to Jess and gave her an ultimatum not to speak about my ex Lisa again. I know Jess and Lisa are still friends, but I was uncomfortable with her comparing my fiance Yang with Lisa all of this time. I broke up with Lisa 5 years ago, and she is nothing but a faint memory in my past. Jess kept on defending herself and telling me that I was with Lisa for most of my adult life, and it's hard to tell any stories from the past without including her. I feel like it might not be that hard though. People do a lot harder things in life, you know? They perform open heart surgery, not talking about your friend's ex. Yeah, I don't think it's that hard. I really don't. She also blamed me for being emotionally childish and just forgetting about Lisa when she was with me for 7 years. Finally, Jess agreed that she will not bring up Lisa in front of Yang, and I should also not treat Lisa as if she does not exist since she is still Jess's friend. I informed Yang about our conversation. Although she was appreciative about it, she said I did not need to do it and she knows how much I love her, and every time Jess brings up my Lisa, she feels sorry for Lisa that she let a guy like me go. Yang went to visit China 2 weeks ago for a month as we plan to get married in her hometown. She is taking care of her shopping as well as preparations for the wedding. Jess invited me to her house that Friday for dinner as I was home alone. I am also good friends with her husband, and we were all just chatting and drinking in the living room. Tell me that Lisa rolls up to this dinner. Tell me. Lisa's gonna come to this dinner. Yang's out of the country. Jess is going to invite Lisa. Mark my words. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I hope I'm right. I'm really hyping this up. Around 7:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. The doorbell rang. And Jess excitingly went to open the door. To my surprise, it was effing Lisa at the door. Right when with all the details he was providing about this up to this dinner, I knew it. She was all dressed up as if she were ready for a date and came in. I had not seen her in person for almost 3 years, and I was shocked to see her. She sat down and started making small talk with me. I was extremely uncomfortable, and I went into the kitchen to talk to Jess. I was angry at her, and I asked her what was going on. She kept on telling me that it's been 5 years since the breakup and to get over it and to be nice to Lisa. She said Lisa was excited to meet me and she thought that we were all adults and could have one fun evening together. We had a fight and I told her that she should not have invited Lisa after our conversation the other day, and I do not want to be friends with her anymore. I went into the living room and I politely excused myself, and I told everyone that I had a work emergency and I had to leave early. Lisa looked sad, but I genuinely felt uncomfortable to be made to hang out with my ex without my consent. I came home and I called Yang. I had never seen her more furious, and she told me she is not comfortable with Jess anymore, as she has some agenda that we do not know about. Yeah, it's different to talk about Lisa, but to invite her without consulting is not okay. I also felt the same, and I called Jess the next day and told her that she crossed a line, and I am terribly upset with her. I stopped taking her calls and I ghosted her. I also told my mom and sister about the whole incident. Last Sunday, my mom called me for lunch. When I got there, I saw Jess was already there. I told my mom that I do not want to talk to Jess and I can't stay. However, she asked me to sit as they all wanted to talk to me. I have a glutton for punishment and decided to hear them out. My mom started with how Jess has been there for me all these years and only has my best interests at heart. What is going on? Do you guys feel that? Am I tripping balls right now? Do you actually feel that Jess has his... I don't think so. And I think it's crazy that mom is somehow delusional about what's happening here. What? This is crazy. At this age, the second you say, I'm setting a boundary, I don't want her in my life anymore, she's irrelevant to my life, and I don't want to hear about it, point blank period, end of story. You respect that when you're somebody's friend, when you're somebody's family. What is going on here? You got me all pissed off now. All right, whatever. She kept on telling me that they are the 3 people, my mom, my sister, and Jess, that love me the most. Jess started saying how she felt that I was making a big mistake in not having to hear what Lisa had to say. She told me that Lisa was my first love, and Lisa is now ready to settle down, and we can pick where we left off, except one minor detail. I don't want that, and I'm in love with somebody else. This is stressing me out, man. I'm playing with my hair because I'm anxious. How many times am I gonna slap my freaking leg? Compose yourself. She reminded me how broken I was when Lisa left me and how life is giving me a second chance. My sister also chimed in and said how they all liked Lisa more than Yang and how we both looked so great together. Finally, my mom started saying how our culture was so different from Yang and it is hard for them to relate to her. I asked them in what way, and my mom said that they did not understand what Yang said sometimes and had nothing in common with her. Then my mom asked me to think about how Lisa and I would have such wonderful looking kids. While if I marry Yang, our kids will look so different. I started getting their drift, so I probed more. My mom told me how our kids would look Asian with small eyes and not like any others in the family. Okay, I have other concerns now, but sure. I asked my mom if she cared about my kids' looks more and not about how smart they will be, since Yang has a PhD. She blew it off, and I realized she just did not want me to marry Yang because she was Chinese and not white. I think we all gathered that based off the incredibly inappropriate comments that were just made. My mom told me to forgive Jess, and my mom asked Jess to talk to Lisa on my behalf and asked her if she would be interested in getting back together with me. So this was a scheme the whole time between your mom, your sister, and Jess. They just don't want you with Yang. Okay. My mom was adamant that since I loved Lisa so much, I should be happy and pick up things where we left off, as that it is the best for everyone. I've never been so angry and may have said a lot of unkind things to all of them before I left. I am so depressed right now. I not only lost my best friend, but also I am not sure how I can move on from what my mom said. My mom and sister raised me, and that is the reason where I am today. However, I cannot get over how racist they are being and how they were just pretending to like Yang all these years while actively working on breaking us up. I have been so shocked that I have not told any of this to Yang so far. I might wait for her to come back next week and talk to her in person. My life is more effed up than I could ever imagine, and I cannot imagine how dejected Yang will feel after hearing all of this. This is worse than I thought. Way worse than I thought. How do you possibly get married, have kids, bring your beautiful grandbabies to mom, knowing what she has said and how she feels? Crazy. I need a sip of water because I'm tripping. I'm seriously balls are everywhere and I'm tripping over them. Cheers. I need a minute. I am very passionate about this man. And his livelihood. Truthfully, I don't even know if he should tell Yang right now. Maybe let her enjoy her visit out there with family and wedding planning. We have an update and it came May 7th and the last one was April 23rd. Excuse me. Excuse me. As I said in the previous post, I blew up on my mom and my sister about what they said and I immediately left. I did not take calls from them or answer texts for the next several days. Their messages initially were anger towards me on why I left before they could finish what they wanted to say. However, I think they realized that on day 3, they might have crossed the line this time and they became extremely apologetic. I finally messaged them to leave me alone and to not contact Yang or I until we contact them. Jess did not message me the whole time. I did not tell Yang about the situation until she came back home 9 days ago. I initially did not know how to bring up the subject, but she sensed something was wrong and asked me about it. I was so worried about hurting her, but I told her what had happened. I was upfront about the stunt Jess pulled and she was angry at Jess. I also told her about my visit to my mother's place, but she did not react with any anger. She just asked me if I was okay. The next few days were confusing, where I was more upset than Yang. She was just excited, showing me all the pictures and telling me stories. Finally, last Thursday evening, she opened up and asked me if I was okay about my mom's behavior and what I planned to do. I told her my thoughts and how I cannot forgive them for what they said about her being Asian and them wanting me to marry Lisa because she was white. I asked her why she was not more upset, as it was bothering me. She told me that when she told her parents about me, oh, they had the exact same reaction for her dating someone who was not Chinese. Her family is very traditional and her parents were very upset about her decision. It took them a few months to warm up to me and accept me. She never told me about this because she wanted me to have a good relationship with her parents. She told me that now they are the most excited about making arrangements for our wedding. She told me that she has always felt something was off when she talked to my mom, my sister, or Jess, and that they did not like her. My mom and sister would be very friendly in front of me, but never invited her for anything when I am not around. She suspected that it may be due to the fact that she is not white and does not understand the American traditions. She said she is not upset with them, and now that this is all out in the open, she should talk to them and assure them that she would be as good of a wife as Lisa or any other girl. She said that she does not want to break up a family in order to start a new one. So I think I'm the only one tripping balls over here then. Despite my protests, Yang invited my mom and sister for lunch on Sunday. She said it would be good for us to talk about everything and hear why they are concerned about me marrying her. I was really not happy with this, but Yang spent most of Sunday morning cooking for them. When my mom and sister arrived, there were a lot of waterworks and apologies. My mom apologized to Yang and me for her behavior and told us that she would never bring it up again. My sister also was quiet and had tears in her eyes. There were a lot of blame games. My mom and sister were blaming Jess for constantly telling them how Yang might not be great for me and how she won't fit into our family. My mom and sister fought with Jess after I left, and Jess blamed Lisa. Based on Jess's story, Lisa has been depressed for the last few years, and when I suddenly got engaged to Yang, it became worse. Jess thought I was also depressed after Lisa left me because I did not date anyone for 3 years. In reality, I just wanted to focus on my work and studies, and I never had the time. So Lisa convinced Jess that she has to get back together with me, as that is what I wanted too. Jess said how sorry she felt for Lisa as she was a longtime friend, and listened to her plan as she thought it was good for everyone. My mom and sister told us that I should stay away from Jess because she orchestrated the whole situation. They kept on hugging Yang and apologizing to her. Yang in turn also started crying and telling them that she will do better to fit in with them. It was all a big mess. I am still skeptical of my mom's change of heart, but I also want to see Yang happy. However, I think it will take a lot of time and healing before I could truly trust my mom and sister. Currently, my mom invited us to lunch at her place next week and told me that Jess will not be there. Jess has still not messaged me or Yang. I really don't know what I can do in this situation. I am still upset and furious at my mom, but I also want to respect Yang's effort to keep the family together. I honestly don't know if I could be that forgiving. That would be hard to come back from. Maybe therapy would help, counseling, family, individual, I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.